Hey guys, it's Will from Will Talks Biz. Today I have the pleasure to sit with Lee Cockerell, the author of The Customer Rules and 3 other amazing books. Secret of my business comes from, I make everyone read this book to get a job, and I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to hear more about Lee Cockerell. Lee, you've done so much for my company you don't even know. Everyone has to read this book to get a job with me. And I just want to, not only did I pick up this book, but I've read all your books. And I just wanted to welcome you and let people know what you're about and a little bit more of why they should read your books.
Yeah, well, you know, I worked in a lot of great places that had great service. I was lucky. I got out of the Army back in the 60s and joined Hilton Hotels, which they were great. I mean, they're well known, good job. I have 6,000 hotels around the world. And then I joined Marriott, stayed there 17 years, and Marriott's well known for their customer service, so I learned a lot there. And then I joined Disney, and I really learned a lot because at Disney everything matters and all those little things you do, and it's all around the people, how to take care of the people. And so when I retired, I wrote the first book, which was Creating Magic, which is about leadership, management, customer service, and I wrote the second one about customer service. And in there, I think, as you know, there are things you can do that don't cost much, or anything. It's, you know, the first thing in there, when my granddaughter told me, I said, "Margot, what's the most important rule in service?" And she was 12 years old. And she said, "Well, Pappy, the first rule is be nice." I mean, that costs nothing. So at Disney, we don't try to hire people and make them nice. We hire nice people. So it's a lot easier that way. So I think about all the time. There's so much competition today. As I told the hotel I'm staying in, there's a lot of places to stay in Seattle, so you need to do a little better job here. And they charged, and I was looking at the price this morning. I went and looked at them. It was $400 a night for 3 nights, $1,200, and it was pretty average. And I'm going like, what? I mean, for that amount, you know, Mickey Mouse should come in stay in your room with you if you're at Disney. So I just wanted to give people ideas, because I think we don't take enough time to think about what the little things we could do, because it's about making people feel special. It's about treating people respectfully. It's about training your people, having real knowledgeable people working for you. Those are the kind of the basics in life. The other stuff will work. If you hire the right people, train them and treat them right, everything will work out fine. And you know that. You've already done it in your own business. And I don't know why people can't understand that if you hire the right people, you train them, and then you treat them well, they will actually do a good job for you. If you treat them badly, they'll steal from you, they'll do all kinds of bad things because they don't care. Somebody told me once, your people will never be committed to you unless they're 100% sure you're committed to them. And if you don't train them, you're not committed to them. If you don't give them feedback, you're not committed to them. And I also tell everybody, when in doubt, manage like a mother. Mothers are tough. They want you to be successful. So those are the kinds of things I talk about. They're simple. They're not complicated. You don't have to go to Harvard to implement them. But simplicity and common sense seems to be a problem these days.
Like early on, I would try to convince people that they had to read a book to get a job, and this was years ago. And I'd be like, each chapter is only a couple pages. Come on, guys. But that was also the idea is, if you have enough sense, you just could read all your 39 rules and just apply common sense.
You could. And you know, it's true. There's just you can read any page. You don't have to read them in order. You can read whatever chapter interests you. As people always say, Lee, you use a lot of simple words, and I said, yeah, because I don't know any big words, so I only use simple ones. I said, I wrote these 4 books. I still don't know where the commas go, so I hired a guy to put them in, because I wasn't very good in English in high school. So, but today, if you want to be successful, you hire the right people, you train them, and you treat them right. And we always use that: hire them right, train them right, and treat them right. And that's the formula for success today, but many people are not doing it very well.
I think the other thing I learned from this is I was actually have a dream to go to the Disney Institute. So I started reading books about the Disney Institute, and that's how you originally popped up in my algorithm. And I said,
well, I spoke for them for 10 years, so I'm cheaper, and I'll tell you the truth.
Well, with your Creating Magic, you talked about the common, I call it common sense.
Right.
And then you called it common sense, rules of leadership in a company. And was that ingrained or taught to you throughout your career, or would you say that's a Disney mix of Lee Cockerell?
Well, I grew up in Oklahoma, and I must say people in some of these places, little towns, they live their life based on common sense. If it doesn't sound right, don't do it. As you know, common sense is, and it's not very common anymore. People just don't think about what they're doing, or maybe they haven't had the right development or direction in their life, or who knows what happens to people, but thinking things through is what we tried to work with my son and my grandkids on, just think, does this really make sense what you're thinking about doing? I mean, really? And so I think common sense is, it's pretty common sense to train your people.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty common sense to treat them right, not badly. And it's probably common sense to take your time before you bring somebody into your company, because what's more important than the people you bring in, especially if you got a small team? I'm sure we've all made mistakes, and it's a nightmare when you hire the wrong person. So, common sense works, or you can buy the book.
I would agree that you buy the book.
I suggest you buy the book, actually.
I would suggest it too. I started with customer rules, went to creating magic, then time management, and I have to say, the biggest takeaway I had from the time management book was when you open an email, respond right then.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Up to that point, I have to be honest, I would open emails and forget that to respond to people. And I think people feel in business or in life, if you don't get back to someone, you can feel jaded, slighted, or whatever. So it changed things because I don't open an email until I'm ready to respond now.
Well, and I think we've all learned that today you got to get better faster, because everybody's like on edge. Everybody wants an answer. At Disney back in the days when I first joined, we'd get letters from guests, and they'd be complaining or they'd have a problem, and we'd take a week or two to research it, get back to them. Today, they're in an hour, they're texting you, they want to know in another hour why you haven't gotten back to them. Everybody's on edge and everybody wants it quicker, and I think businesses, like your business, people don't want to sit in the line in the car window for an hour waiting to get their cigarettes or their Coke or whatever they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to move it, and technology helps, having great people helps, having great training helps, and these are just things. Speed is important today. Sure, you want quality, but you want speed too. People don't want to hang around. They got things to do. Sit in traffic here in Seattle.
Yes.
So everybody's kind of suffering these days from a lot of anxiety about this pace of life. I mean, look at Amazon. People, they want it delivered like when they hang up the phone. They don't want to wait till tomorrow even anymore. They want it now.
I would agree.
And so we've all got to think about those. What do people want now? And they want to be made to feel special. They want to be treated as individuals. Don't tell me about your big policy. Take care of me. And they want to be respected. And they want to have knowledgeable people. And I saw in your stores yesterday when the people pulled in. I'd never seen so many different brands. I was mind-boggling to me. And they knew right where they were, and they got them and served them, cars and done, and you had the dog bones there for the dogs and the suckers for the kids, and everybody left happy.
And I have to admit, when I didn't know, I don't think it was just because you and I were there and they all read your book. I think it was because I wasn't going to get the product fast enough. Someone would grab it and hand it to me when I was trying. My favorite time is actually going back to the front line and helping. That's where I get zen, because it's fun just talking to customers.
Well, the longer you stay away, the slower you're going to get at finding those brands.
Yes. And I think you can't just apply a book and throw it out at a company, your employees, and say, just do this. You have to live it. And one thing I've told employees over the years, and I'm glad you wrote Career Magic, was I saw Easter eggs about your career throughout all the books. And I would say one of the biggest ones is you can apply for anything you want as for a job. And you can be anything you want if you put customers first. And you also went through many mistakes you made along the way, which I think young people could appreciate, is you're not going to get it always right.
No. Just an individual. I've used Uber 4 times since I've been here. And I'm not kidding you, I had 4 great drivers. Mm-hmm. I gave them, some of them the tip was higher than the charge, because they were just great. And they had the right attitude. And we all have enough problems in our life. We don't want to get in the Uber car and have 12 more problems, or come and get cigarettes and have to wait an hour in line, or all those things that happen to us because life's a hassle. So you can make more money when you do a great job. When you do an average job, you make less.
No, I appreciate your time, and I think if there's any lasting advice you could give to any young person just starting out in their career and they have dreams of, I don't know, working at Disney or being in a big corporation, what would you say?
Well, I'd say what you've already learned, that don't underestimate what you can achieve. Just because you've been through a tough life, or you think you're not good enough, or you don't have the right education, or you were poor, or your mother mistreated you, forget all that. Somebody said don't look back, you're not going there. You're going forward, and forget all that stuff, because it's up in our brain, and too many people underestimate what they can achieve because of insecurity, lack of self-confidence. They don't believe in themselves. And if you're in that environment, I tell people, get out of your village, go out and see the world, meet people from other places, read, listen to podcasts, educate yourself. You don't have to do it in school. I learned a lot more after I got out of school than I did in school. And so don't do that, and don't underestimate the influence you have every day with people. Just be nice to people, be helpful. Be a teacher, don't try to be a boss, be a teacher. And you'll get a lot more done because people will appreciate you. So you can make a difference or you cannot. It's really a choice. But I know there's a lot of obstacles in the way, which is usually in our brain. They're not even true, but our brain kind of holds us back. But we need to get over that.
I appreciate that, Lee. And one lasting point that I love to talk about your books, and I know I get to finally tell you that, is not often do you get the person to meet the person that you read about and that you've inspired my company. But that's why I said I want to tell everyone I know you got to pick up a copy of The Customer Rules, Creating Magic, Career Magic, or even Time Management, because they are like my business secret. But now I don't mind sharing it out to say is one thing I tell young people, and so you would know, is have you ever said you watched a video on YouTube, or have you ever said that and you said pick it up? You could always say, someone told me to read this customer service book, and tell you my first job. Anyone young, it's your first interview, you go in holding a book and said, I read this book and I know about customer service, you're going to get hired. And that's what I think.
It'll help dramatically.
Yeah, if you're not going to get hired from a company who said, I've read all these books on customer service and I'm in high school and I want to work, then you don't want to work for that company. That's my advice. But a company should hire you right away because you'll separate yourself from the competition.
Absolutely, not too hard.
And then when I've been in classrooms, I'd say that, and someone would say, can I get the book? And I'd say, oh, okay. I wasn't gonna. But no, I want to thank you for your time, Lee, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to be with you.